Alrighty, welcome to round two, folks. We are back and ready to go with our players. Let's get things turned on here. Got almost, looks like Yellowhands is on the play, just what every Yeti's deck wants to hear. Almost went to get a free mulligan already. Now looking at a quite interesting hand. I don't know if Almost wants to go to 6, but this hand looks real tough.
Oh, brother. That's just at least four turns of nothing.
Yeah, gonna go down to 6 instead. Much better 6. At least some playable cards in this hand.
One playable card is better than none.
True. All right, get your predictions on. Gamble those points away. That's what we do on TNE here. Pro gambling. As long as it's channel points. Crest of Fury going to start things off. Going to see a Permafrost. That actually seems pretty good. If you know you're going against Yetis, being able to go Permafrost, their first 2 units, can really buy you some time.
Hey, cheap removals is you put cheap removal in the deck to draw it, right?
Absolutely.
So you see that Permafrost on top, you especially if it's your second of only 2, then you leave it there.
Well, you mentioned this in the deck text. No turn 1 play for Yellowhands. Going to follow up with a Wizened Crone as the 2-drop. That's not one you see very often. If you don't know this card, Wizened Crone is a 2/1 for 2. Your spells deal +1 damage. Now, Almost is going to Permafrost that, but if there's any silver lining for Yellowhands, that Permafrost doesn't shut off that ability.
No, it doesn't, but out comes a fully loaded Champion of Fury. That also absolutely must eat the second Permafrost.
Here goes. Cheap removal. Permafrost. Almost is going to get to turn 4 against Yetis with 21 health. Gotta like where that sits. But going to get a Pock and a Mischief Yeti. So get a Snowball. And remember, spells do +1 damage. So that's going to be a Snowball for 2 whenever Yellowhands wants to fire it off. And Almost is going to draw good old Crafty Occultist. 3/3, draw 2, discard 2, and some other text. Gonna get flying this time.
So, Almost has to keep the Westwind Herald and has to keep the power to play the Westwind Herald. But hey, Granite Waystone turns into a Grenadine just in the nick of time.
Yeah, that Crafty, usually you think it's going to get that 1/1. That 1/1 was not actually from the Crafty, but Almost played it out so fast that it almost looked like it. All right, second copy of Pock here. Got those snowballs. Looks like we're going to see double snowball here to take down the Crafty. And Yellowhands has 2 copies of Mount Slushmore in hand. Yeah, things coming together on Yellowhand's side.
There's that one of fire etchings for Almost. I wonder if we actually... No, we're not going to see the fire etchings for Short Hopper shenanigans. We are just going to see that Westwind Herald come down and threaten the mirror image if it connects.
All right, Westwing Herald, Flying Aegis 2/2. Infiltrate, so when it hits, play a spell from your void. So we've got that mirror image. We've also got End of the Barrel there. Mirror image playing a copy. End of the Barrel getting a bunch of power. Milo's going to attack in here. Yellowhand's going to play that over the site. Going to deal a bunch of damage. Going to put a firebomb in there. But Almost stays alive and is going to get a hit off.
I'm not sure. Okay, I see. So Almost opted to keep that Grenadine alive to use that fire.
So we're going to Short Hopper here. I like this. We're going to go to Short Hopper, play, discard the 8 of the Huru before attack so that we can infiltrate and play the 8 of the Huru. I love that. Well done, Almost.
I don't see how an aggro deck comes back from 8 of the Huru resolving, but we'll see.
Fantastic play there. So 8 of the Huru is a 12-cost spell. Stun each enemy unit. Play 2 4/4s. Draw 4 cards, gain 4. Almost was able to discard it thanks to Short Hopper's ability, and then play it from the void courtesy of Westwind Herald. And yeah, that's going to be tough for an aggro deck. Almost getting a bunch of cards, stunning all the units, getting some big blockers. Just exactly what you don't want your opponent to do if you're on aggro.
Yeah, it's not often that aggro cannot go under 8 of the Huru.
The one disadvantage usually is that it costs 12, but Almost says, I'm not paying full retail for that. Get out of here. In this economy?
Oh boy. And now the pivotal moment.
Whew. All right. Pivotal moment. Also gets to just kill the site for free thanks to Gleeful Firebrand here. So Pivotal Moment says, when one of your units hits the enemy player, draw a card. It's free this turn, then discard at the end of the turn. Tiny Taco 70. Thank you so much for the follow. I feel like I'm going to need a little more than a Tiny Taco, though. I guess you're 70 of them, so 70 Tiny Tacos might feed me.
Wow.
This looks pretty good.
Draw 4 into effectively play 4.
Garden of Omens for free. End of Hostilities for free. Can play a copy of a unit.
So I support your own Grenadin, maybe?
Nah, just gonna fire off the melt here. Play that hurler out. We're gonna play a free snowball.
Fire?
And also end of hostilities to make a copy of this Westwind Herald. And then you got that infiltrate next turn as well.
So I'm a bit puzzled why the snowball went after the little Yeti instead of making another Westwind Herald.
Sure, that's a good call because of the tribute.
Yep. But yeah, Almost is now
probably doesn't matter at this point. Ahead. I'd be surprised if this game was not over.
So that downpour actually hits for 3.
It does, but these Westwind Heralds at the very least have Aegis, and Yellowhands is out of power.
Right.
Almost is going to be able to play a second copy of Aid of the Huru this next turn if they choose, and there's no way an aggro deck can be 2 copies of Aid of the Huru. Actually, with Davia, they can they do 3?
There isn't room for
yeah,
the
there
owls
isn't room, but also kind of warp end of the barrel. All right, Davia going to go first. Let's play this Aid of the Huru. Now it's void bound, but I mean, I think if you're Yellowhands, you just kind of toss it in now.
Yeah, Yellowhands is just dead now, so it doesn't matter that you don't get any more
firebomb. But Almost was well out of range of that. Well, we got to see that off. That was pretty nice. Might not have been the infinite combo, but it was pretty close to an infinite combo at that point.
Yeah, that was almost getting exactly what Almost needed. Now, one of Fire Etchings, and at one point Almost was down to 13 life. If that Yeti's deck, did things a bit quicker, that might have gone the other way. But as we saw, no 1-drop, and a 1-drop against such a slow deck can often hit for 6 points of damage or so. The Champion of Fury was the only thing that got in, and that got in on turn 3.
Yeah, it did. That was pretty early. I mean, Almost got a little bit low, but really wasn't threatened at any point in that game.
Right.
All right. Well, our players are ready for game 2. Quick reminder that every match tonight is best of 3. We got to get rid of that RNG a little bit.
Right. So, yeah, Almost had to ship a 1-power hand and a 1-drop Permafrost. Can't ask for more from this top heavy deck. So Almost is going to keep that 7, pretty good 7 for what his deck wants to do, and yeah. So I have to imagine we see the Gleeful Firebrand come down and perhaps plunder away this end of the barrel.
Sure. I mean, once again, Yellowhand's not putting out too early of a threat. Actually having, this time did have the 1-drop in the Snowcrest Yeti, but not having the undepleted power.
Yeah, so rule of aggro, crests, never, ever, ever in an aggro deck. If you have 1-drops and you have crests, Uh, Pick one.
All right, we're gonna see the permafrost and the firebrand as you mentioned. So gonna take out that unit. Also have an 0-3 blocker, almost setting themselves up for this mid game. Looking pretty good. Yellow Hands did get a depth charge down here, but I have a feeling it's not going to come down to that. Depth charge, if you haven't seen it, at the end of your turn, if you have no cards in hand, sacrifice it to deal 2. So it's not a huge effect, but it's kind of a free effect, right? You just get it from the attack. You get to do an extra 2 damage at the end of turn. Nice to have for aggro decks, but it's not a big player in the game.
I mean, ultimately, it's look, damage is damage, and reach is reach. So you take what you can get as an aggro deck, especially in these brutal prone environments that people know aggro exists. So, sometimes the difference between winning and losing is just a tiny bit of health.
Sure.
So,
And Yellow Hands facing down the menace of all Yeti's decks, which is a 1-1 Grenadin blocker. Shuts off the 2-1 attacker.
so
Shuts off the 4-1 charge in hand. I guess we do have 2 copies of the party starter in hand, so Yellow Hand's just going to wait to set that up. I'm a little surprised Yellow Hands didn't play out the Wump this past turn. Would have been able to get through an attack, but deciding not to at
right,
this point.
right. This ferocious Ursa, I believe, is the only primal stealth unit. Um, so if I
Crafty going to discard 2 cards, including a unit, so that's going to get another free 1-1, which is great for almost because all we really want at this point is just some cheap blockers to throw in front of
yeah,
these aggro
yeah,
units.
it's the Iron Ursa. It might as well be face up
Yeah.
with these open lists.
Mm-hmm.
So almost just gonna pump the brakes and just wait for that thing to swing in.
Yeah, and almost gets Garden of Omens next turn, which is nice. Champion of Fury, another copy of League Explorer, but again, those X ones can't really attack effectively. But yeah, it's gonna attack in. Almost gets a free
So
block
I do
on
not like. I'm not sure about
Champion.
this attack.
Oof.
This throws away, this throws away the League Explorer. Champion of Fury trades with a 1/1, and sure, the Iron Ursa gets a hit in, but now the ability's lost.
Yeah. You get a little bit of overwhelm damage from the champion, but losing the champion in the process is a little tough.
Right, and now this Garden of Omens comes down, and I have to imagine cleans up the Iron Ursa.
Almost sees a undepleted power on the top of the deck, which is exactly what Almost wants, because Almost has a Davia in hand, and that costs 7. Almost is going to be able to get that Davia down with an active Garden. Things looking
So,
pretty nice for Almost at this point.
oh wow, a Champion of Fury off the top. Late game as a Yetis player, that's about as good of a top deck as you can possibly get.
Yeah, it's a 5-2 charge overwhelm courtesy of that Wump. Gonna get 2
So the
free
question is,
snowballs out of it.
do you go after the Gardener? Do you go after your opponent? Mm,
I think if I'm Almost, though, I just let this Garden die. I mean, not that you really have much of an option here, I guess, because of the overwhelm, but like, who cares?
Yeah, there's I mean, ultimately this block will have to be made.
Yeah, I guess
So might
the
as well
Garden's
make
going down either way, so it's really just a question of does Almost want to trade with that unit while you have the chance? Gonna choose
right.
to do so and then follow up with a 6/6 Aegis Davia here. Let's see what spells are in the void for Almost. We've got an Ice Bolt and an End of the Barrel. Gonna grab that Ice Bolt, presumably killing off this Wump. Wump
Yep.
down. Almost says, no
And
Yeti parties for you.
you you're hoping for something a bit higher impact than a 2-cost spell, but you do what you gotta do in a 6/6 Aegis that can also stun enemy units. Like, Davia isn't just an Eye of Winter, she can stun multiple units if you have nothing better to do with your
Yeah,
power.
very relevant that ability is. Wizened Crone going to come down as well, pumped up courtesy of that Wump. Yeah, the depth charges are going to fire off there. That's going to put Almost to 9. If yellowhands can somehow find some way to push some damage through, they might be able to steal this, but it's going to be really hard to do that in the face of two Davias. Going to need to resolve some sort of burn damage or something to the face. But yeah, like you said, just going to stun.
So
Actually, that's cute. With the end of the barrel, just gets the free power and can stun right there.
right
I like it.
again, these
All right, another copy of Wump. That's going to deal another 2 damage, one damage, and then future Yetis will do double damage. I'm not sure.
that's not a joke. Every single Yeti top deck is now two to the dome, two to the dome.
Yeah, the problem is that almost can stun, and then start getting the attack on. Those Davias hit pretty hard.
Oh, that's true. So yeah, almost can stun another. Oh, but see, here's the problem with these defensive stuns. They only work for one turn.
Right.
So if almost stuns the Wump and swings in, you
The
know,
others wake up, yeah.
We hunt as a
yeah,
pack.
there's a painful amount of crackback coming through. Honestly, what I would do is offer one of these Davias for a trade.
Tiny Taco.
Almost
Should I change my name
win.
to Gigantic Taco 70? Yes. I like Gigantic Taco 70 much more. Stormguard 798 subbed. That's 5 months. Thank you so much, Stormguard, for the 5-month resub and for all your TO work. Fantastic member of the community. Everybody give Stormguard some snowballs. He does so much for the community and for TNE, and thank you so much for the subs as well, my friend.
So now, almost in these classic bad situations of these top end decks, that they're starting to get board control, but they're at such low life that they can't turn the corner. And meanwhile, the aggro deck is now the inevitability deck because they're just trying to top deck enough Yetis for burn. However, almost top decks that one of fire etchings,
Yeah, but doesn't have anything to throw to the market.
a fire sigil.
Oh, you get the fire. Oh, right. I'm sorry. Of course. Throw the fire sigil to the market. Of course.
And then what is the question? Because the short hopper discarding the 8 of the Hero, like Auto Tread and Grendon Drone aren't high impact enough. The short hopper can discard the 8 of the Huru, but there's still no way to actually replay it from the void.
Right. You would need another copy of Davia, or you need to get a Westman Herald or something. Gonna twist the lightning sprite instead. They hit a crafty here.
And
That's gonna just draw 2 cards, which is nice. The Waystone Titan and the Skycrag Silex. Silex gonna hit, gonna get another draw. Silex is still powerful. But twist again and see a Jotun Hurler. That's a nice thing to twist into. It's a nice thing to loot into because you get to keep the snowball and you just throw away the Yeti. Waystone Titan is a 5/7 charge. When it hits the enemy player, you get +6 power this turn.
Right, so almost cannot warp that end of the barrel.
Right. Not enough power to do so. Gonna trove it off the top of the deck, just get it in hand. Twist it again. There's an Iceberg Scatter Shot.
Wow. Okay. So if almost can
If almost can play the Iceberg Scattershot and then play the Westwind Herald, it deals 1 damage to the player and then gets to replay
a
a spell. Although we didn't put the 8 of the Huru in the void.
Right, there are no mirror image effects in almost void, and a torch in hand for yellowhands.
Oh wow, Torch can. There's no way to push through though.
So
No
a Wise
overwhelm.
Crone pumps it to 4.
That's right. It's 4, courtesy of the Wizened Crone. So Yellowhands can put almost to 1.
So throwing this torch out, I think, is a little premature.
Yeah.
if we just do math, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attackers, 1, 2 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blockers. That's not a profitable attack.
It's not, and Yellowhands, if they ace base, dies on the backswing just from the units on the
Right.
board.
Right.
Well, I guess that's
So-
not true because it would force some blocks from almost. So actually, could ace
Yeah.
base and then wouldn't die on the backswing necessarily.
But would lose the majority of their army. And oh my god!
No! So close.
So can
Oh, end of the
almost
barrel.
find can almost find some way of can almost find a mirror image effect. No, almost is just going to
Just gonna play end of the barrel again, but that's gonna be enough to kill the Wumps, courtesy of the Firebrand. So those Wumps are both down, and then Davio's gonna stun the Crone. Who almost does
But
have to be a
this-
little careful though.
but this opens the road for a vicious attack.
It sure does.
So how much? That is 24 damage coming in.
Yeah, it's can almost actually get through lethal here. All Yellowhands
you
has
have
to
to-
block.
So the two Davias must be blocked. Must be. Otherwise, yeah, these two Snowcrest Yetis are gonna die.
I mean,
And
you might as well
then-
attack with the Grenadin then. I'm surprised almost didn't. Just get that extra damage, but yeah. That attack is gonna be brutal, as you said. That's gonna put Yellowhands all the way down to 3. Stun again with the Davia with the extra power. Make sure those aren't coming back just for good measure, even though they were already both stunned.
Okay, so Yellow Hands, moment of truth. Do we top deck
Torch.
another torch?
Oh! This is gonna be enough because that's gonna be 5.
Yep.
Torch to the face. Oh my goodness, Yellowhands.
Wow. The
The
very
Smuggler does
last
plus
card.
1 damage. The Wizencrone deals plus 1 damage. Almost had the opportunity to kill the Wizencrone with the Firebrand, but killed the Wumps instead. Oh wow.
Yeah, that.
Well, true to their name, almost gets the victory in that game, but not quite because Yellowhands top deck king. Torch for
Sure.
5.
But ultimately, the question was, are there more Yetis than there are +1 sources of +1 damage? If
True,
you
you
left
got-
a Wump,
yeah. Play the odds there,
Yeah,
and I think you're right. There are more Yetis to do that extra point of damage, so I think the decision was probably correct. But
right?
yeah, I thought I bet almost. I mean, if I was in almost position, I would be like, yes, I got this. You left some units back to block. Oh boy, brutal. Alrighty, well, game 3, players tied at 1. I think almost has a big advantage in this matchup. But we'll have to see. This is the last game of the round. So your winners, while our players are getting ready here, your winners are Duo Cat, the Overmaster, Canada, Apple Chips, Ash Acer, Ulrich, Roomdo, Phoenix, No Mortal Coil, Roshi, and John K. Kez have all won. And we are in game 3. This is the final match of round 2. Yellowhands, once again, no turn 1 play.
Right, a good no turn 1 and no turn 2.
Yeah, no
Nice
turn 2 play
aggro deck,
either.
bro. Starting off with a 3-drop. How Yeti mid-range? Nice deck, bro.
I mean, hey, yell Yeti's spell damage. That'll do the trick in game 2. We'll see if we can pull it off in game 3. Almost going to start things off with a Firebrand. Nice hand for Almost. They're going to need some power to get there, and Yellowhand's going to get rid of that Firebrand that first opportunity with one of those torches.
Well, hey, almost has another one.
I doubt
I
that's
have
the
to
play
imagine.
here, though. I think it's got to be Sprite or even just Crafty and keep the train going.
Yeah, the firebrand this turn is a very inefficient use of power. So, which cards are we discarding? Dis- Discarding the firebrand.
Sure,
Hmm.
that's going to give Flying and a Grenadin there. Drawing 2 power there, that's going to make sure that almost hits that garden on time. Yellowhands picking up that Wizened Crone on the draw there. Of course, dealing +1 spell damage. We saw how important that was last game. Going to start it off with Wump, the party starter. Well, in this game is going to be the one starting the party because there are no other Yetis out there right now.
Yep. So,
End of the barrel on the top of the deck for almost, but that's pretty awkward. I don't want to really cast that right now. I wonder if
no,
we're just
I mean,
going to twist it away. This lightning sprite.
so I have to imagine we're seeing the either the pivotal moment or the end of the barrel get
Yeah.
discarded.
Yeah, 2 expensive cards, not what almost wanted there, and that's what we're going to see. Lightning Sprite. Going to pay 1 to twist to loot, which is draw and discard. Just going to draw that end of the barrel and throw it away basically off the top of the deck. Almost doesn't want to draw that next turn.
Pay 4 to get 2/3 flyer and bottom of the top card of your deck. I can think of quite a few things to do that I'd rather do with 4 power, but
Yeah, that's
sometimes you
fine.
gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, I mean, Lightning Sprite was a house in that draft format a couple years ago. The card was great.
Oh, for sure. In limited formats, air superiority is it's one of the best ways to win the game.
Yeah, there are 2 really consistent ways to win in limited: having really good flyers and having card advantage. And it's like, well, how about we slap them on one card at common or uncommon or whatever? Yeah, that's pretty good. Gonna line up a double block here.
Swing the Wumpin? Ugh, that's Yellowhands offered the trade and almost just snapped it off. Well, apparently not.
Ooh, almost
Almost thinks
rethinking
about the
that.
card advantage.
Yeah.
Wow, lets it through.
I wonder if almost was worried about some sort of fast spell that would have blown that up.
Let's see. Was there any reason to be afraid here? There isn't. There are no fast. Oh, the From Within. There are 2 copies of From Within in Yellowhand's deck. So Yellowhands either bluffed it or just you know either it was genius or really reckless.
Well, either way, gonna get away with that attack, but almost is gonna fire back with Garden of Omens and gonna use an Ice Bolt. So I'm gonna do it the old-fashioned way, just use removal to take care of that Wump. Yellowhand's gonna play out a stealth unit and then
We
play out a
hunt as a
permafrost.
pack.
Hey, Prakalakin, thank you so much for the 6-month resub. And Prakalakin says, all right, I didn't think I was this petty, but here we are. Toto's was my baby long before Apple Chips ever picked it up, and he was the one who got Apple Chips to pick it up. So you heard it right there,
Stand
folks.
corrected.
Toto's belongs to Prakalakin. Henceforth, let it be known across the T&E universe that deck is Prakalakin's.
I stand corrected. I will gladly eat that crow.
Pretty heads up way to prove a point, too. Another copy of Permafrost, gonna knock out that Crafty. This Ursa has Overwhelms. That's 5 Overwhelm attack. That can kill the site. Nothing almost can do about it if Yellowhands wants to do that this turn.
Yes. Okay, so firing off another permafrost, just everything out of the way. Now, are we going after the site or are we
Yeah.
going after our opponent?
Yeah, definitely going to go after the site here. No blocks for almost, no reason to. They're not going to take down that bear and not going to save the site either way. So pretty easy. No blocks there. Site down, garden down. Almost at 5, unfortunately, not 7, because 2 7 drops in hand, including that Davia. Another copy of Iceberg Scattershot here. But almost going to start off with a loot.
So, right,
Discard
that
that pivotal moment.
that lightning sprite can still twist. So, almost can still draw cards here.
Yeah. And there's the 7th power if Almost wants to hold that in hand. Yeah, going to hold that and discard that treasure trove and play a second copy of Iceberg Scattershot and says to Yellowhands, I am the Yeti Master now. Playing out 2 copies of a big Yeti here. But there's another copy of Wump. These are getting some big Yetis here for Yellowhands.
Oh, for sure. I think these Grendons are gonna have to. These Grendon are gonna have to, bite the bullet and chump here because that Iron Ursa is coming in for 5 ups for sure. So almost is basically an effective 11.
Yeah. Yeah, Almost doesn't really have amazing blocks. I mean, can trade with this Crone, which is pretty good. Guess we should call him Yeti Hands, not Yellow Hands.
So
I imagine
let's
you
see
snap
here.
off this block on the 4-3. I don't know why you wouldn't. Yeah.
Or maybe you snap the block off on the 5-4. You take the 3 overwhelm and then you chump the 4-3.
Yeah. I think because you have the Davia coming down the next turn, I would just take the trade that you have, and then now you've got a 6/6 Aegis to block it.
Right. The Iron Ursa is reckless anyway, so
Right.
Davia is just gonna eat it.
Yeah. I
And
think it's a little
what?
more damage, but I think you take that. And
Ooh,
replay
end of the barrel.
barrel.
Stun these 2 Wumps.
Boom.
I am not sure about stunning that Iron Ursa.
It is reckless. Interesting. Well, oh well. The Ursa is stunned. Sudrock's masterwork here. That can do a little. It can give Wump flying. It can break the Aegis on Davia. Yeah, gonna give this Wump flying. That's gonna put Almost down to 6. And Yellowhands thinking about this play again. Can Yellowhands figure out a way to get 6 to the face? 2 torches maybe. Now there's no damage pump this time, so you'd have to do it all from natural damage. Garden of Omens the draw for Almost.
So this site absolutely must go down.
Yeah, now the site can go down from just a Grenadin attack. It'll be interesting to see.
Right.
Almost can also stun twice with the Davia. Just play out the Insignia, don't play the Garden, and just stun, take out the site.
Right. Once again, Almost is left in this unenviable position of how do I not just survive, but how do I win? Because 6 life against 2 Wumps on the board is a very precarious position because there's Torch, there's top decked Yetis. So taking out a Wump definitely alleviates some of the pressure.
Yeah. It's a little awkward that Almost couldn't, you can't split attacks. So a little tough that Almost would have probably have loved to be able to attack with, the Davia there into face, but no reason to do so because we can't split it here. But this is going to work out pretty well, I think. That 6/6 blocker against the 5/4 Reckless. Yellowhands draws a Permafrost. That can hit one of the Grenadin, but that Ursa's going down either way.
Right. So you honestly, I think if I'm Yellowhands, I permafrost this Grenadin.
You could Permafrost the Grenadin, kills the site.
Instead, I have to smell blood, I think, if I'm in Yellowhands' position. But instead, Yellowhands is
Now Almost, yeah, gets that free. Gonna jump block the Wump, just keep that life total high. I like that. I mean, you're only at 6. You got to keep it up there as much as you can.
Right, because if you take the Wump, then death is 1 more Yeti and a torch instead of 2 torches.
All right, we're gonna resurface here. Let's put a spell on top of the deck. Can we put the clone on top of there? Yeah, here we go. End of hostilities. Yeah.
Okay.
Gonna be another Davia.
Woo! Gonna be another couple of Davias.
Replay it again. Get another Davia. Now it's void bound, but there's a pair. Get a pivotal moment. Ooh, going off now. That's gonna trigger. Draw some cards. Nah, just draw the one. Granite Waystone here. But almost just as important is almost is going to be able to attack in for a bunch of damage this turn. And with the scatter
I see
shots now,
what's
you just
going
get to
on
draw
here.
cards because of the pivotal moment. So everything's going to cost 0 now. You're going to get to keep drawing cards because they're all going to hit thanks to the scatter shots. I think we just might get this combo here. This might be game. These are all going to hit. These are all going to draw cards. Just going to end the game.
Yep.
But yeah, combo off. Almost probably didn't even need the combo, but